Everybody please stand and say a prayer. Say the pledge. Stephanie, would you lead us in the pledge? Preston, will you lead us in prayer?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Raise, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and the blessings. Father, let's go with us as we go into this mission reading. Heavenly Father, that you open our minds. Heavenly Father, that we can do what's best for the county, for the people of the county. Father, let's go with us now. We guide and direct us for good glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Everybody had a chance to look over claims?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Todd. Rick second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes, sir. Motion to approve.
Six man motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Todd second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We have a buyer for some property at Fredericksburg. What was the guy's name? Menendez?
Lloyd.
What's his first name?
And he's looking for approximately a quarter acre to attach on to his property that he has now.
Yes. I think pursuant to 36-1-11-5, the property is worth less than $15,000, so it exempts us from having to get the two appraisals.
Should we, if we sell this property to him, do we give him a letter saying what he can do, can do?
It's in the deed, it's up to him to do his own research.
So that's all we have to be.
The restrictions are in the deed. I assume, I haven't looked at any of this, but if you're talking about the restrictions that were placed by FEMA when Washington County acquired the land.
We can't be too worried about being attached to where he's already living, so I suggest we get rid of it.
Not only that, he mentioned we've had appraisals on the other properties there, so,
And they're much less than 15,000.
yeah. There's no need to go to the expense to get another one.
It's less than a quarter of an acre
Right.
in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, it's not a desirable property because it is in a floodplain and you are limited. You cannot build
I'm talking out of it.
on it. But he knows that.
Okay.
That's why the price will be very reasonable.
One of you said price.
$1,000.
Rich made a motion for $1,000 to add.
That was the question, isn't it?
Really, it is, because it's not like you're not choice property. Every time, I mean, look at the expense we have going down mowing.
That's exactly right.
$1,000 and he takes care of the title work at his expense, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Johnson made a motion.
I'll say.
Rick second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
We want to instruct Dustin to, or Kyra to send him a letter or contact him.
Yeah, I can, if you guys want to see, that's fine.
It'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, you had a RDA meeting this week. Can you?
Friday, at Friday. At Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, the third.
Can you give us a report on that?
Yeah. RDA directors met here, and, there was one tier that they, approved the funding for, and, they had 7 down, but they just did 6. And, the action taken was like the Ready Broadband Plan, it was 100,000. Salem Municipal Airport was 253,800. Lake Salenda was 280,000. The One Fund, I don't know what that is, but it's 125,000. And then the Aligned Southern Indiana Master Trails, 70,000. And Southern Indiana Youth Sports Complex was 24,000. And they had Jeff Boltmaster a redevelopment plan down, but they didn't approve that one. But they were given, RDA was given 50,000, but there's it says here that the grant agreement was, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Was that 50 million?
50 million, what did I say?
50,000.
Oh, it's 50 million, I'm sorry. But they ended up with the administration funds, which they call administrative fiduciary services. After that's taken out and everything, they were given like 47 million, what they were given. So they took each, the administrative and fiduciary took 3% each as administrative. So that took 3 million there. But, that's what's going on right now with it. And then River Hills is, working with, Indiana, the part of Indiana, IEDC, to work together to administrate all this.
You know who's in charge of River Hills now?
Yeah, Corey Cochran. Corey Cochran.
We ever met him?
Yeah, he's been here, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a real nice guy.
Preston, was anything said about there was a request put in, I think it was put in through River Hills and the RDA on the, extension office 4-H building up at the fairgrounds where we kind of selected a site where the old pool was?
There wasn't anything, nothing. And I said, there's 21 items that was turned in for this. There's those 7 at the time, but it could be on those others, but I don't know that, but it wasn't mentioned at all.
But it has been awarded to the Lake Salenda project.
Like Salenda and the airport.
Yeah, right.
When's your next meeting?
July the 8th. And it's, they didn't have a place yet where it's gonna be, that I picked up on.
Appreciate that. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Ready for budget?
Well, we're talking. Oh, but you know,
It's coming due.
it's coming, yeah.
Thank you, Preston. Highway Department, that's Rick.
Got a couple of things for you here. We had our community crossings bid opening last meeting. After reviewing the bids, I'd like to make the recommendation of accepting the low bid from Temple and Temple in the amount of $1,267,778.95.
Have a motion?
Would you give me that figure again, I'm sorry?
$1,260,778.95.
Thank you.
So, everything holding on blacktopping amounts.
The price per ton right now is $80.61. We started out looking at $65, so that's roughly an additional $15,000 per mile. And after several miles, you know, that's gonna add up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So the end result's probably gonna be shaving off a few miles this year. I've got the contract for the community crossings to sign, if everybody's agreeable with that.
Based on the superintendent's recommendation of proposed, we award the bid to Kimball. It's a low bidder.
Second.
Call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
You just started paving this week, didn't you?
Yes, started yesterday on Possum Hollow.
Oh,
They brought out a mile yesterday. Next up, I've got a road inventory correction to make. We need to adjust Fire Lane Road in Polk Township from 1.764 miles to 2.036.
And where's that at?
Fire Lane, if you come off 160 on the
Yeah.
Clear River, Fire Lane's the big hill that shoots up to the left. So that'll be an additional quarter-mile in our inventory. Nothing will be different other than just we're updating our inventory correctly.
1.76 to 2 point what?
03.
Anyone got it? Yeah.
Great.
Also, just to make you aware, we've started mowing, and we have got several complaints about grass in the road. We went back to the disc type mowers, and they do have a shield completely over them, and it puts far less grass in the road than our bush hog type we had. So, the amount of grass in the road, in my opinion, is minimal for the amount of grass we mow, but we have received several complaints. Just making everybody aware. Other than that, we're paving, and everything's going as long as normal.
I think he's on your second round and mowing.
Yeah, everything's going together pretty good.
So the trucks.
Well, you're between a rock and a hard spot on that. You don't mow them, you catch.
You can't.
When you mow them, you get that, so.
If you don't pave the road, it's bad. If you do pave the road, you're bad. I mean, there's no, it's a non-linear process. The trucks, supposed to have the tandem delivered 1st of June. Well, we're 1st of June, haven't seen anything, so we're just holding.
Where they coming from?
Indianapolis, Reading Equipment, that all the trucks that we got from Freightliner are there and have been there, but they're having trouble getting the bodies mounted on them, a lack of help.
When's the last time you spoke with them?
Week before last, I got the email with the timeline. One's supposed to be in the shop, but, I mean, they're gonna be 2 years old one of these days. We'll get them when we get them.
Well, you know, over on taxes one. Appreciate it, Al.
Yeah. So we did, we're ready to trade in.
This is the same company that requested more money,
Yes.
and we
Decline.
stuck with them.
That's everything.
What's the name of that company where the beds are being put on?
Ready.
Ready.
And the last go around, everybody knows there's supply chain issues, and, workforce issues. The last round of trucks we got, they did really good work, they did really fast, and I guess they're struggling like everybody else, but they've really dropped the ball this time.
It's unfortunately what we're living through, and steel prices are getting worse.
And I don't know, possibly, where they request additional money, maybe somebody that did pay extra and got moved in front of the list, I can't say that, it is what it is.
I'd say you're right.
That's everything for me.
Thank you, Rick.
That's really all.
Kyra? Rick?
No, sir.
The only thing I have, I've got a request here for the master gardeners to continue putting the flowers out. They're asking for,
$859.60.
This is just a quote, there's no request for, it's not a claim yet.
So do we need to give permission to do this? What are you asking for here? $859?
Yeah,
Well, I think we've got enough praise off of it, so maybe we'll have some happy news here. I suggest go ahead.
okay,
We put that form.
I'll put that in form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Has anybody walked through the courthouse recently? They got this going down. Tony, have you looked in the mechanical room down below?
It looks amazing.
I mean, I gotta commend him along with all the rest that's done work here in this old building.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth delivering stuff from our office over here, and, I mean, in the offices, the floor looks great, and the boiler room where he stained the floors and the pillars, and
The enthusiasm that I've seen in this building here with employees is unreal. I mean, they take pride in it, they dust it, they paint it. Thank you, Kyra. That's the one praise you're gonna get.
yep, thank you. It's a lot of work.
They don't realize the work that these girls have put into it. Stephanie, do you have anything this morning?
you know, just that town of Hardinsburg, we can get that wrapped up at some point, make a decision if there's a charter on file or not, so we could get them on the election cycle next month, the filing period.
Wasn't someone looking for the charter?
Yes, sir.
Got John,
Town president, Ross.
to my knowledge, it's not been located.
Yeah, I mean, the state doesn't have it, so,
Or
Or,
the town president or something.
because he's gonna research through his papers, what papers he knew existed. He's not gotten back yet.
if they can find it, record it with the state, and that's gonna solve everything, and then
How
we
can,
can
how
force
can the
them.
state of Indiana send money to a town that they don't have a record of? That makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong, at the wrong level of government.
But you'll make great, right?
You're way above, you, I mean, I would say get back with Jay Davison and see which offices he talked to that said there was no charter on file, and where does it get actually filed if it's found?
So is somebody gonna report back by when? Anybody,
They're still looking for Mr.
any not a time frame gonna be put on this to get some kind of report?
Yeah, that time frame does.
Otherwise, 2 years will be going by, we'll be back here to the same thing.
I'll contact Mr. Davis,
See what he comes up with.
what he's come up with, so on and so forth.
Okay.
So if we can give them a deadline by July 1st to find it, or figure out what needs to be happening at the state level, so we could throw them on the filing period next month. So they could be put on with the town of Pekin and all the other towns that are on our election cycle.
See what we come up with by the 21st, next meeting.
Right.
I know that Meg Cotton asked me to check with the Historical Society, and Jeremy Elliott said they did not have anything there. I got a message from John Mead that says, John Hughes from the Stevens Museum did some research. The town of Hardinsburg was laid out in 1838. The town was not incorporated until March 4th, 1849. Says who the officers were then. And suggested we look into the recorder's office. Perhaps finding something, but my guess is there's nothing in the recorder's office, but, so I think that's kind of it.
odd. I don't understand at the state level how they could be all these years giving them money as they are a town, but then other departments up there say there's no charter on file, that they're not recognized as a town, but then they're getting the funds as they are a town.
And the state made some exception in this instance.
Well, it makes you wonder how many other of these little towns can provide a charter and
Hundreds,
so forth.
hundreds of them.
Yeah,
Well, Jay, at that meeting, he mentioned it was up in the 1,000, that the state knows it's an issue. So I would foresee an audit at some point in the future of all these little towns across the state.
Well, if you type in the computer on Wikipedia, Hardinsburg was laid out in 1838 by Aaron Hardin, and named for him. Aaron Hardin operated the first store, and Hardinsburg had kept a store for several years before the town was started. Hardinsburg was incorporated as a town in 1849. Somebody should have a record of that someplace in that year. And this is on the internet, so it's gotta be right.
They can audit the town, Hardsburg. That makes it a town, right?
Again, it's getting above my pay grade. I'm just going off of what, I had Jay Davison look into it and what he reported back.
Yeah, well, either way.
Okay. I would know something about 21st.
But we wanna reiterate here, we're all three in agreement that we do not want to dissolve the town.
Nope.
That's not our goal. Our goal is just to see if they have elections.
And Stephanie, what was the issue? You can't be on the ballot unless we have this charter, is that the issue?
Well, prior to you all requesting that the state get involved and getting Representative Davison to look into those offices, it was unbeknownst to me or anybody that there was not a charter on file and what that meant at the state level. So prior to that, the Indiana Election Division instructed, I forwarded that to the president and the commissioners, Phil Marshall. Their response is, if they're a town, a true defined town, they cannot have an appointed board. They have to have an elected board, because those in that 2 mile square, like right now, there's like 139 registered voters. They do not have representation. They're paying those 280 something folks that are in the town limits. You know, they can all be registered voters if they would like to be, but unfortunately there's only 139, give or take, since April 27th. They're not getting representation. This is an appointed board. They're appointing themselves. They're not elected by the people. So if they are a charter true town, then they can be on the filing period on our election cycle, and they have every option to file. And if there could be some mediation with the current appointed board to stagger their terms, and everybody on that board can then file as a candidate to run for those positions.
But absent evidence that the town of Hardinsburg is indeed a town, the clerk cannot put those.
I cannot in good faith or as an election administrator under oath hold an election in a governing body that's not recognized by the state when it comes to their charter as a town. Now, to me, if they're given money, it doesn't make sense to me at the state level. If they're giving them money all these years, then how are they not considered a charter town by the state?
Is there anyone at the state level that could give us any guidance?
I mean, I can reach out to Jay Davison and see exactly who he talked to in which departments. Because he rattled off the departments in that meeting that we had, which departments had said that they did not have a charter on file, and so hopefully he still has all that documentation. so you don't have to redo the legwork.
But hadn't Jay already done that?
Yeah, he already did that and reported
Yeah.
in that meeting, yeah.
Yeah,
I know Dustin wasn't available, but John Mead was here.
I just didn't know if there was some exception in the election laws that may say, hey, you know, there's all this evidence that the town of Hardinsburg is in fact a town, despite the fact we can't physically obtain this charter. Perhaps there's some exception that would allow us to put them on, have these elections on the ballot, even despite the absence of that.
Yeah, and I can check back with Matthew Kochever, but he had already given us the two statutes, the state statutes. Matthew Kochever did in the election division on what needed to be done. You know,
Why wouldn't you call, I mean, we pay them dues every year, the Association of Indiana Counties, who have attorneys that, are here to help us and ask them. There's thousands of towns that don't have charters in the state of Indiana. I'm sure they've run into this before. They may be able to whip out an answer in 2 minutes.
To me, it seems like more of an election issue rather than a general.
well, it's a big issue all around. I mean, as far as, to me, it's gotten out of, once it went up to the state level, you know, and those departments are saying that there's no charter on file. You know, my thing back to them would be, how can there not be a charter on file if you guys are releasing funds to them as a town? It doesn't make sense at the state level to me.
We all know that at one time or another, the state of Indiana had a copy of the charter of the town of Hardinsburg. Now, the fact that they lost it, is that our fault?
I don't know if they lost it. I didn't talk to any of these people directly at the state level. You all asked Jay Davison, and then he went to those departments and asked.
See what Greg comes up with.
yeah, I'll talk to Mr. Davis.
Okay. Sam? Good news, bad news?
Well, we're, here, I'll just go up there real quick.
You gonna report on that dental?
Yeah. We had the ancillary lines, the dental and vision with Nippon, and they were using the Dynamax network. We had one in-network provider that had Dynamax in the county, and so that dentistry is pulled out of that network. So I researched and found that Delta Dental, we now have 3 providers in county for employees to choose from for dental. And then the vision is going to be with Delta Vision, and they use the VSP network, which is a very broad network as well. So coverage stayed the same for the employees. There was nothing that dropped on that. Actually, pricing was very, very, very similar to what they were paying this previous year. Vision dropped. Dental had a little bit of adjustment, but not much at all. So same coverage, more options for the employees to go to different dental providers. So
He was also giving us one, 2 and 4 year lock.
yes, the dental has a 2-year lock on the rate, so that was another plus, and then there's a 4-year lock on the vision rate. So all wins on the ancillary lines.
Did I see an email this week go out? Everybody's got a signed paper by such and such date.
I believe, yeah, Cheryl sent that out, and I think by the 19th of this month, should get all the employees' paperwork back in, who's going to take it and all that. So should be a pretty smooth process. That's all I got.
You don't know anything yet? We're
Not yet. I'm hoping get word back on the it's 1/1 renewal, so hoping they get an early release and we can get a good lock on that. So as soon as I hear, I'll, get something set up so I can talk about it.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Okay, we need to recess until tonight at 6 o'clock here for the ARP meeting. Thank you.